offices of Steiner Sports.
Of all your awards and accomplishments, though, which is the one that's most special?
We win. That's it.
From the offices of Steiner Sports.
Brandon Steiner just went on the Adam Carolla Show. What a great show. Welcome to our newest version of Yankee Steiner Memories of the Game. Marty, what amazes me is the depth of your collection. I guess the first thing is, how was New York treating you?
Along the way, I got a lot of
Brandon Steiner is a self-made man. He is the epitome of the American dream. Brandon was raised in Brooklyn, New York, and faced adversity from a young age. Through his tenacity and perseverance, he was able to create and build a business empire. Against all odds, Brandon created and built the premier sports memorabilia and marketing business, Steiner Sports. Brandon has signed the most famous athletes in the world, including but not limited to Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, Peyton and Eli Manning, Mark Messier, and the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, Muhammad Ali. Brandon has also partnered with the best and most prestigious sports franchises, the New York Yankees, Dallas Cowboys, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. He revolutionized an industry, and in his most bold move, he bought the house that Ruth built. Brandon has been a guest on countless TV and radio networks, hosts his own television and internet shows, speaks publicly, and most importantly is a tremendous philanthropist, always believing in paying it forward. Brandon Steiner is a terrific speaker.
My whole thing is the first 90 seconds in my day is critical. Your day, almost every day, is dictated by the first 90 seconds of your day. Before I do anything, the first 90 seconds, I want to make sure that my head is positive and it's right. So in your first 90 seconds, I want you to think about a positive, strong statement. Because I guarantee you, 23 hours, 58 minutes and 30 seconds will be dictated of how you deal with the first 90 seconds. You know, you get into conflict, you got to confront. You got to embrace problems, not run from your problems. When you think about your adversity, you think about maybe some of your hardest moments, think about what you've really done to grow. It's always been adversity, conflict, confrontation, chaos. I think you got to turn your adversity into an advantage. That's the stuff that makes you the strongest. True creativity and your best creativity really comes from not having anything to work with other than your brain and your time. And sometimes you do your best when your back's against the wall. If it isn't easy, it isn't possible. Because one of my favorite lines is that all of us are better than some of us. All of us are smarter than some of us. You can't get better without losing. But that's how you get better. Without conflict, without losing, you can't get better. So embrace losing. Have fun with it. And get serious about it. When you lose sales, when an account is down, embrace it. And bring everybody into the mix so we can all learn from it. And when you do something great, collaborate. Share it. If you were an automobile and something wasn't running right, you would go bring it to the shop. Like, what is it that's not running right for you? Physically, mentally, spiritually. I always think about what is the one thing, because usually it's one thing that's screwing up your whole day. How many times is there one thing that gets in the way and all of a sudden your day explodes? You know, one thing for me is like, geez, if I could just figure out how to get to work, instead of having to go to that Metro North, get in a carpool with 3 people I don't even like, then get on a train, sit across. If I could just figure that out, my day is going to be a lot better. So after all, what's really the key? How do you do the most amount in the least amount of time? And that's what we're all doing. I used to get up at 7:30, take me an hour to get to work. I'm like, how is this possible? I'm going 40 blocks. Well, I'd be waiting for a cab. I realized that's pretty stupid because I'm wasting 20 minutes a day. Times 5, it's 100 minutes a week, 400 a month, times 12, 4,800 minutes. If it isn't easy, it isn't possible, I always think about what is the one thing, because usually it's one thing that's screwing up your whole day. Is it your shirt is too tight around the neck? Is it, you're not getting to work quickly? You can't be productive that way. You never ask a person a question that's yes or no, because 50% of the answer is going to be no. Ask them a yes question. This is where a lot of people really struggle. Are you willing to help the other person get what they want more than you're even willing to get what you want? Do as much as you can for as many people as you can, as often as you can, and expect nothing back. If you help other people get what they want, if you really listen and start solving, not sell, a lot of things can happen. But I want to make a sale more than I want to sell. I want to get somebody that gift that when they walk in, their kids or their husband light up more than I want to make a sale. I want to find that perfect thing. That's the key to my success. 2 things I know for sure: what might happen, and I'm going to prepare for what might happen, And then I'm going to deal with what just happened. That's it. That's what's going to make you a sharp business person. There's nothing like walking into a meeting and you being prepared. How many times you walk in, you take an order, and you're already having martinis, you're celebrating, high-fiving, but have you really exhausted the opportunity? Is there more there? What else and what's missing? Because what better opportunity to do more is when you have something already that's big. Everybody's searching around for this passion. You know, they want to fall in love, they want to be passionate about what they're doing, but we're really where everything starts is with commitment. You make a commitment, that leads to passion. Are you 100% in? Because the difference between 99 and 100 is 100. Commitment will lead you to passion. Not, well, let me see, I'm going to get passionate about it, then I'll get committed. So I never really go for the, I'm doing the best I can stuff. It's one of the worst things to tell me. Thing is, are you all in? If you're a little not in, then you're really not all in. And that's what happens, is that you kind of come up with these excuses. For me, when I was a dishwasher, there's no one that ran a dish room like I ran it. You came into my dish room, dropped dishes off, forget about it. You didn't stack them up the right way, put them the right way. God forbid, if you threw a piece of silverware in the garbage, everything. I ran a tight ship. I ran it like I owned the restaurant, owned the dish room. It didn't matter what job I had, because that's the stuff that's contagious. And all the little things mean everything. You can plan for what's about to happen, or you could deal with what just happened. The Steiner story really starts. I was in 5th grade, PS2 15, Mr. Kerper's class. And he called me up to the front and he gave me an envelope filled with some cash. What is this for? And he said, well, we took a collection money for you to buy some clothes. And I said, well, why do you think I need clothes? Well, you've been wearing the same pants for 3 weeks in a row. I said, how do you know that? I said, you have a rip in the right knee. It didn't feel right to me. So the next day, I went into my mother's room and I said, listen, on Saturday, I'm going to go get a job. You don't need to worry about me anymore. And if I can make some extra money, I'll help the family too. But you don't need to buy me anything. You know, I'm going to take care of everything. And Freddie the fruit man came through for me. You know, at $1.50 an hour, I delivered fruit and vegetables, and then I moved on to working the counter. When I was about 12, I decided I was going to do a paper route. As I'm walking around, I started with a very small route, about 27 dailies and 30-something Sundays, and I need to grow this route. I mean, if I'm going to go wake up every morning at 6 a.m., how else can I get more people to buy my papers? And I started knocking on doors, and I asked this lady who came to the door, she's probably about 70 years old, and she just looked me dead in the eye and said, why would I buy the Daily News from you? I can go to the store and get it for 8 cents. Why would I pay you 8 cents? I said, it's the same amount of money, but I've got to tip you. I knocked back on the lady's door, and that's when the first thing that came to me, which was, what else? So every day on my way to deliver the newspapers, it was a bagel store. I said, if I brought you milk on Wednesdays and Sundays and hot bagels on Sunday morning, he says, you would do that for me? Done. So then I proceeded to now build my route around this extra service that I provided. And I've got the route up to about, well, 175 Sundays and somewhere a little over 100 dailies. And I'm starting to rack a little bit, starting to get going. And what was great about that, you know, that story is when you think about it, it's like you always think like, you know, you're providing a service, but really the question is, you know, what else can you provide? You think about all the things that all of you are doing for a lot of customers, but are you really thinking about your customer and what else you can do for them? But the bagel guy comes to me and says, hey, I cannot believe you never miss a morning and you're buying these bagels for me. How would you like to come and bake bagels for me? I'll teach you how to make them. I'll teach you how to bake them. And what was great is that opportunity led me to employment throughout my whole high school and even to early college, because all these bagel bakeries started opening up. I worked pretty much full-time in college. I was trying to go to Florida, and I didn't quite have enough money saved up, and everybody was going to Florida. There was a place called The Button in Fort Lauderdale. Now, this place was crazy. All the colleges would have, you know, during the course of a day, would compete against each other, who was craziest, who could chug the beer the fastest, wear T-shirt, wear Willie. I was trying to think, what else? You know, how am I going to do this? I'm going to do my version of The Button up here. I'll go to all the schools in Syracuse saying, what's missing? What's missing is a party for us to meet other people in other schools. That would be fun. And sure enough, we had our pledges, giving out all these flyers, but with the message, and it's a value proposition. Aren't you bored meeting the same people every day, the same parties? Here's an opportunity to go to a party, meet other kids from the other schools. Now that night, when there were about 2,000 cars and the traffic, I could not see the end of the cars just trying to get into the parking lot. We ended up getting about 3,000 people into the club that night. And I just remember it was about 4 in the morning. I'm counting the money. And I'm thinking, I'm going to Florida. And I got a final in about 3 hours I got to take. But I realized at that moment that I could promote. You know, that I was a promoter, that I was a marketer, and I knew how to bring things together and create value by creating, you know, brands and bringing people together. My first autograph, and how I kind of got started in the memorabilia business is, I was at Yankee Stadium and got these seats. They're 5 rows over the on-deck circle. You know, these seats are incredible. They just opened up. We got to grab these seats. Now, I had never sat in seats like that. We always sat in $1.50 down the left field line. We buy the seats, they're $4, 15 cents on the subway each way, bought a hot dog for 20 cents, scorecard for 10. You know, I had like 40 cents change. Joe Pepitone comes over, gives me my first autograph. You know, we really want to talk trash. Trash, get over here now, sign these kids' autographs. So I had both autographs, still have the program at home. These eyes have never really gotten that close to a ball player. So I'm out of my mind. Came home, said, Mom, you're not going to believe this. We sat in the most unbelievable seats. We actually saw the game. We talked with 2 Yankees. And my mother says, where's my change? I said, well, I got the 40 cents here. You spent $4 on a ticket. I could still hear her screaming from here. You know, it's a memorable moment when you get that first autograph, when you get up close to the field and you see that. And that was really, for me, starting Steiner, because it was the beginning of saving all my programs, saving all my magazines, which led to Steiner remembering moments and turning moments into money. My kids, I used to read stories to my kids. I'm reading, not the book, I'm making up my own story, which is what I often did. My kids go crazy, like, Dad, that's not in the book. I said, don't worry about it, I'm just reading. This is a good story, though. I don't know, for some reason, I was making up the story about why this Mark Messier was one of my favorite players and why that moment means so much to me. And I realized about 2 or 3 minutes in, my kid was sleeping. I'm like, I like this story. This is a great story. And this was really the defining moment in Steiner. It was an aha moment, because I'm thinking to myself, if that's how I feel after the birth of my kids and marrying my wife are my 2 favorite moments, and then Mark Messier is like number 3, and I realize that everybody has a sports moment in their Fab 5. Good chance. And I'm going to pray off of it. So I go in the office the next day and I find every moment there is. Carlton Fisk, the touchdown run, the '86 Super Bowl, McConkey waving the towel. And then I go find the athletes to match up to the moments. And here we are. Remember the moment. Steiner Sports Collectibles, and millions of dollars later. Probably one of the best ideas I had come up with, and probably changed the collectible business. The only reason I went after Derek Jeter was one reason only. I represented Phil Rizzuto starting in '94. This is even after I bounced his check, which was a short payment of, I think it was $19.31. And he killed me about that for God knows how many years. One of the things I realized with Phil was he never ever said to me, Brandon, do this, do that. Everything was all him focused, except for this one time. He comes back from spring training that year, and he says, Steiner, always call me Steiner, Steiner, you better sign this kid. I said, seriously? Why are you hitting me with this? Like, he barely even, I wasn't even sure he was going to start. Like, what? He's special. You got to sign this kid. I'm telling you, you got to sign this kid. Now I'm figuring, I'm with Phil a bunch of years already at this point, and he's the only person he's ever said to sign. And it's for Rizzuto telling me, I better go sign the kid. And that's how we signed. That's how we signed Jeter. We're on our way to about a 16-year relationship, and quite a bit of things we've done with Derek Jeter, which has been great. The key is, you don't need to start your own business to have an entrepreneur spirit. You want to have an entrepreneur spirit every day, and the way you approach business. And part of the biggest thing is not being afraid to take risks. A lot of it is not only doing what you want to be doing, but thinking that you're worthy of accepting the best, accepting the opportunity, accepting the ability to make an unlimited amount of money. You have to kind of feel that you're worthy of that, worthy of some of the opportunities that are out there. A lot of them are presented to you, but you may not feel that you're worthy of it and really believe inside that you can do it, you can have it. And it just shows you, who would ever thought? I'm like, if not me, then who? Why can't it be me? It's a wake-up call. You're part of an industry. You want to leave that industry better than when you found it. Which is kind of, sometimes some industries that I just wonder what people are thinking. All they care about is their company and as much money they can make. But they're not thinking about making the industry that they're in bigger and better. And I think as a company, that's probably I think the thing I'm most proud of Steiner is we've made the industry better.